I started this short film project by creating a blog on WordPress, where I recorded my ideas and film development throughout all the stages from my research to my post-production. WordPress was essential in order to help me organise my ideas and structure my short film. It allowed me to display my ideas and thoughts in a well-structured and interesting way, making sure I had everything recorded in one place. It was then easier for me to achieve every task that I set myself. I did this through making blog posts, but also having the ability to embed images and videos to support my writing, additionally making it more visually appealing. As a part of my initial research, I analysed existing short films in the drama genre. I used the website Short of the Week, where existing independent short films are uploaded. I found it extremely useful as the site gave a brief plot before clicking on the video. Therefore, I was able to look through quickly and only watch the ones relevant or captivating to me. I also used YouTube, as this gave me a wider view of what drama short films were out there. This initial research was extremely beneficial to me as it allowed me to get inspiration from existing drama short films, but also develop my own ideas and understandings. For shooting my short film, I used two cameras. For the close-up mouth shots, I used a Canon 700D with a 18 to 135mm lens. I used this camera as it could manually focus the shots, but also it was high quality and able to let me zoom in extremely close. This was important as my shots were just of mouths, so I needed to have the lens zoomed in really close. Using this lens produced some really good in-focus shots, which I was extremely happy with. For the rest of my footage, I used a Nikon D90 with a Nikon VR-DX 18 to 105mm lens. This lens enabled me to manually focus the close-up shots, which was extremely important in the makeup shot, as it was shot from the reflection in the mirror. It also ensured that medium shots were clear and everything in frame being in focus, adding to the overall aspect of my short film. This camera is extremely good at picking up ambient and surrounding sounds. Therefore, parts of the dialogue which I filmed using this camera, I had to delete as the background noises were overpowering the dialogue. Throughout the process of making my short film, I've included audience feedback, which I filmed on a Nikon D90 using a Kingston 32GB memory card. However, during my research on shot types and camera movements, I used the camera on an iPhone 5S. This camera is easy to operate, and as this footage was for practicing and not about having a high quality, this camera was perfect for what I was trying to produce. I also used the iPhone 5S to take photographs of my drawings for my animatic. This is a camera which I always have on me, so it was easy accessible and easy for me to operate. I used Final Cut Pro when creating the animatic for my short film. As I have previous experience using Final Cut Pro, inserting, ordering, changing the duration of my shots, but also the camera movements for my animatic was simple and easily doable, allowing my animatic to closely represent what action I insisted of having where, but also what the overall film will look like. Producing my animatic is an important process of my production planning. My animatic allows me to lay out my storyline, but also from creating the animatic, I can also come across any issues before I actually film the short film. My audience can also give me my first set of feedback on the short film, allowing me to make any early changes. For displaying my written text, I use the website Scribed. This includes my audience questionnaires, my shot list, script, production schedule and risk assessment, but also my film review research. All of these written aspects help when creating a successful short film, but also in the organisation of it to reduce any issues before the filming process starts. The site Scribed allows you to present your written work in a document form, allowing the viewer the ability to scroll through it as though it is a document. I think this is a good way of posting written information, but also it looks neat and clear. When producing my questionnaire results, I use the charts on Microsoft Word, but also a website called WordCloud. The effect of me doing this is displaying the written feedback I got in a unique way, but also an interesting way, so that the results are clearly readable. For the post-production stage, I use Final Cut Pro to produce and edit my footage for my short film. I only changed the speed of a few of my shots as the action happening looked more effective slowed down, also allowing the audience's attention to be focused on the action happening. One aspect I use in particular is the colour board. I use this to edit the colour of my shots and create my own filters, these being pink and blue. The filters connote the gender differentiation throughout the beginning of my short film. This is effective as it allows my audience to clearly understand my storyline and make the shots look more attention-grabbing. Final Cut Pro also allows me to crop the action in my shots to make the effect of the match on action between shots continuous and smooth. For the interview section, I used my camera when recording the characters' voices, as they were not extremely loud. I used Final Cut Pro to turn up the sound in the shot. Final Cut Pro also allowed me to delete the backing sound in the beginning shots where it was not necessary. I used the colour balance tool to make all of the mouth shots a similar colour, so they all flow together, making the overall appearance of my film better. Making the shots similar in colour is effective as they look more professional due to the brighter contrast. When I found difficulties when using software, YouTube was a way I could look up tutorials for the development process of my main product, but also for the ancillaries. The post-production process also led me to use a wide range of resources such as dafont.com and RiffStation. RiffStation is a website which allows you to acquire instrument noting from any song. I use this when producing the music for my short film. As I found the music I wanted on YouTube, I had to find the notes to then give them to the person who helped me to produce my music. This website was extremely helpful to them to getting the music as similar to the original as possible. Dafont is a free website which consists of a variety of fonts placed under specific and related headings. It is where I acquired the font for not only my film, but my film poster and my film review. From Dafont, I picked the font Bebas Nu. I chose this font due to its bold and simplistic style, as I think it represents my realistic storyline. I also got feedback from my audience and they also decided on this font. Once I had decided on my font, I then used it in Final Cut Pro, but also InDesign and Photoshop, which are the softwares I use for my ancillaries. I did not have any experience with InDesign, however it was easier to use than Photoshop due to its ability to lay out my film review with the specific columns, main image and text. InDesign allowed me to produce my film review following the style of an Empire film review. This software allowed me to use specific downloaded fonts and replicate the layout from the right colours to the same fonts and positioning. The toolbar gave me the ability to add in columns and specific shapes such as the lines dividing the columns, but also the arrow at the beginning of my writing, all following the layout of the Empire film reviews. This software was key in creating the realistic film review style. To create my film poster, I used the software Photoshop. I have background experience on Photoshop, therefore creating my poster was not as time-consuming as my film review. I used a quick selection tool to remove Ethan and the two props from the background to insert them into my new background colour. Photoshop also allowed me to edit the raw file of my image, which gave me the chance to increase the exposure of the image, making his clothing brighter, but also the props. This connoted the childlike bold colours children are surrounded with when they are younger. As I was cutting out one image and pasting it onto another, I did not want it to look unrealistic. By using the zoom tool and paintbrush, I was able to precisely fill in the white gaps around Ethan. This adds to the overall realistic appeal of my film poster. Media technologies have been essential when producing all of the aspects of my short film project and the ancillaries. The wide range of technologies have allowed me to improve my work to its greatest ability.